Hi everyone, my name is Timothy Cassis. I'm the co-founder and head of AI at Cadence. I'm here to give you a short tutorial for how to use Cadence Web to evaluate a startup idea. Cadence Web is an end-to-end agentic system that's capable of researching, analyzing, and synthesizing information. So it can go all the way from kind of idea to written report on very complex tasks and uh, plans. What I mean by plans is tasks that require very long context as well as kind of multi-step planning. So it could be something like doing heavy research on some sort of topic, analyzing the data, doing some computational modeling and simulation, training machine learning model, all the way to producing a ready-to-use report for you to consume. If you go to our website, there's a bunch of kind of example use cases and blog articles, etc., that I encourage you to actually look at. For now, I'm going to go to Cadence, app.cadence.ai. It's free to use. You get $50 worth of free credits when you sign up, and our fast mode is currently free as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have Cadence Web evaluate a startup idea I have. So think about the kind of market potential of the idea, the feasibility, really kind of anything that comes to mind. In Cadence Web, we have different effort levels, considering that this is something I want to be heavily analyzed because I might be spending a lot of capital on this idea. I just want to make sure that I get the best quality output possible. So I'm going to go with Pro mode, and I'm going to ask Cadence Web to evaluate my startup idea. I am interested in building an agentic system for wedding planning. So the reason I'm giving this example, right now my fiance and I are going through a lot of logistics around wedding planning, and you have to find and contact and coordinate with a bunch of vendors, 6 or 7 vendors, everything from caterers to a venue to DJs for music to the chapel or church or whatever you're hosting the ceremony at. And there's a lot of logistics involved, and a lot of it has the potential of actually being automated. So, finding the right kind of high quality vendors, contacting them, looking at availability, going back and forth, finalizing the contract, looking at contracts, etc. So I was thinking this morning, why not actually build a startup around wedding planning, most specifically kind of agent-based wedding planning, where a user might come in, pay, let's say, a lump sum or some sort of subscription, and then the platform essentially allows them to do all sorts of kind of agent-based interactions regarding wedding planning. Now, obviously, I don't have the idea here kind of polished or anything like that, but I want to have Cadence help me with this. So let's first kind of investigate the feasibility of this idea. So I'm interested in building an agentic system for wedding planning. Let's say that takes care of all tasks. I want to be able to charge for it. Initially deploy, let's say, in the United States. That's where I think a lot of weddings are expensive, so people can probably pay for an agentic system to do wedding planning. Assess the feasibility of this idea, the tech, let's say, the market, the potential revenue, and kind of long-term, let's say, sustainability of the startup. So you don't have to be very, very specific. You can just kind of describe your idea, describe what your goal is, and let's say here I want a full, detailed report and suggested execution plan. So let's see what Cadence Web gives us. When I click go, after a few seconds, Cadence Web comes back with a few questions, just some clarification questions. It's asking about the type of document I want prepared. So it's saying, I'll prepare a comprehensive feasibility report and execution plan for you. Does this match what you're looking for? Would you prefer a different format? This is fine. I'm going to say, yeah, one is fine. Target audience, who is the report primary audience? This helps me. Okay, so the audience is just myself, let's say. Financial depth, for the revenue and sustainability assessment, should I use general market averages, standard SaaS metrics, or do you have specific pricing models? So I don't really have a preference here. I'm just going to say, figure it out. And then 4, technical scope, how deep should the technical feasibility section go? Should it focus on high-level system architecture or specific tech stacks, etc.? I'm going to say all. Let's have it produce a lot of detail, because ultimately, I want to use this to decide whether this is a kind of worthwhile startup to pursue or not. Visuals, would you like AI-generated diagrams included in this report? Yes, many of them. For example, a system architecture diagram showing the agent workflow or value chain analysis. So I'm going to submit this. So these are just the answers to the questions the system was asking me to clarify. Usually you get about 4 to 6 questions depending on the complexity of the task. And this is mostly to tell Cadence what kind of additional information it might need, or to fill in any kind of gaps in what it understood about the prompt that you gave it. Few seconds, it comes back with a execution plan. What that basically means, it's kind of the steps that's going to go through to accomplish the goal. So it's going to do some market analysis. It's going to kind of devise a technical architecture for the system, going to look at the business model, provide an execution roadmap for an MVP, go-to-market strategy, risk assessment, etc. So now at this point, you can either just approve the plan as is, or you can ask it to modify it. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to say, proceed, looks good, go for it. Cadence is going to take, depending on how much research it has to do, because it needs to pull information from a variety of financial databases online, from technical databases, economic databases, etc. Depending on what you're asking it, it might take anywhere from about 10 minutes to a few hours to complete this query. So let's give it some time, and then we'll come back. About an hour to get done. So there was a lot of research and analysis that was needed. When the task is done, you'll notice there's a new tab that says final result. So this outputs the deliverable that we had asked for. But you can also browse all of the outputs and intermediary files that were created. Most of the interesting stuff usually is in final. In this case, we had asked it to generate a report, so that's what we're going to look at. But there's also the figures that it generated. There's a interesting summary here of all the sources it's used, including the databases, statistics, etc. You can go through this, but usually this is all already incorporated into the document that we're going to look at. So let's not spend time on this. So let's look at the final result. So this is the PDF that was generated. I'm going to open it in an external PDF reader just so it's bigger for everyone to actually see. See this? I'm just going to zoom in a bit. Okay, so let's see what the result was. Agentic wedding planner. Let's do a quick glance of the table of contents. So there's industry overview, market size, industry drivers and trends, competitive landscape analysis, customer analysis and segmentation, technical architecture and feasibility, interesting, business model and revenue strategy, go-to-market strategy, risk assessment, execution roadmap, financial projections. Research methodology. This is, I think, the appendix. Yeah, appendix. So as you can see, we generated a 61-page report. Let's quickly skim through it. So this is a list of figures. I'm going to link to the report, by the way, in the description on YouTube, so you can read it if you like. So executive summary. Wow, very large market size. AI tools adoption by couples. The most recent stats is from 2024. Average wedding cost is about 32,000. Okay, so there's comprehensive statistics here. Everything we need to essentially make an assessment whether this is something we want to pursue as a startup or not. So let's look at some of the figures, because usually that's what I'm a visual learner. This is where I get most of my information from. So this is talking about the ecosystem, figure 1. And these are all generated by Cadence, by the way. These are not figures that were just pulled from the web. Estimated on spend, like caterers, florists, videographers, photographers, etc. Market size increasing. This is figure 2.1. Okay. Let's look at some more of the figures. Industry drivers, and again, interesting figures here. I'm just going to actually skip until to the figures. Automation. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. I'm obviously not gonna read it now because I want to keep this tutorial short. This is what couples go through. Interesting, very nice plot. Let's look at some of the other figures that were generated. Okay. So risk assessment, interesting. Estimated cost of the MVP, around half. It will cost us about $500,000 to put together. It's very reasonable business model. What we can charge. Very, very comprehensive analysis. Let's look at if there are any other figures. So we're still at page 42 here. Risk assessment heat map. Interesting. Any other figures? Execution strategy. This is a timeline. Okay. Excellent. So this was a summary of how you can use Cadence Web to evaluate your startup idea. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to our website to get started. It's free to get started. You get $50 worth of free credit. And if you have any questions, please also join our Slack community and follow us on X and LinkedIn to stay in the loop. Thank you.